Good morning students. Welcome back to our video lecture. Today we are going to continue with the second lesson of geography, that is the sun, the moon and the earth, part 2. Now already in previous video we have studied about axial and orbital motion of the moon, perigee and apogee position of the moon, waxing phase and waning phase, and I hope you have understood about it. So let's start our second part with eclipses. The orbital part of the earth and that of the moon are not in the same plane. The moon's revolutionary orbit makes an angle of about 5 degrees with that of the earth. As a result, the moon intersects the plane of the earth's orbit twice during one revolution. Students, observe the diagram. On each new moon day, the lines joining the earth and the sun and the moon makes an angle of 0 degree, whereas on each full moon day, this angle is of 180 degree. Students, remember that the sun, the earth and the moon may not be in one straight line in the same plane on every new moon or full moon day. Hence, eclipses do not occur on each new moon or full moon day. However, sometimes on a new moon day or a full moon day, the three fall in one line and are in the same plane. Eclipses occur on such occasions. Eclipses may be solar or lunar. Students, let's study about how solar eclipse occur. When the moon is between the sun and the earth, the shadow of the moon falls on the earth. At such a time, these three celestial objects are on the same plane and fall in one line. Hence, the place on the earth where the moon's shadow falls experiences a solar eclipse. In short, students, solar eclipse occurs when the moon is between the earth and the sun, and all of them are in the same plane and fall in one straight line. There are three types of solar eclipse: total solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, and annular solar eclipse. We are going to learn about each of them in detail. Total solar eclipse. During a solar eclipse, the moon comes between the sun and the earth. The moon's shadow falls on the earth. Students, you can see in the given picture, this shadow is of two types. The central portion of the shadow is darker, which is called umbra, and the remaining portion of the shadow is the lighter, which is called penumbra. In the area of darker shadow on the earth, the sun becomes completely invisible. This is because the moon hides the sun completely. This condition is known as total solar eclipse. Total solar eclipse is not seen from all the part of earth. Partial solar eclipse. During the solar eclipse, at the places where the shadow is lighter on the earth or from the region of the penumbra, the sun disk appears partially covered. This condition is described as partial solar eclipse. Now, let's see about annular solar eclipse. Sometimes the moon is in apogee position. This means it is at its farthest from the earth. As a result, the deep shadow of the moon is cast in space and does not reach the earth. Students, observe the given diagram. You can see in the diagram that the moon's shadow is not able to reach the earth. This is because the moon is far away from the earth. At such situation, from a very small region of the earth, only an illuminated edge of the sun disk is seen in the form of a ring. This is called annular solar eclipse. Annular solar eclipse is a rare phenomenon. Students, here you can compare between total solar eclipse and annular solar eclipse. You can see the image of sun during total solar eclipse and annular solar eclipse in the right side of the picture. Characteristics of solar eclipse. A solar eclipse occurs on a new moon day, but not on every new moon day. If and only if the sun, the moon and the earth are in the same plane and fall in one line, the solar eclipses occur. The maximum duration of a total solar eclipse is 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Now students, in your textbook, we have an activity based on solar eclipse. So let's try to perform the activity. Take a table, take a ball of clay or mud and keep it at the center of a table. Fix a pencil vertically in the clay ball in such a way that its sharp end points upwards. Fix a small plastic or sponge ball on the sharp end of the pencil. Draw a circle along the midline of the ball. Let this ball be your moon. Now place a large plastic or rubber ball at a distance of 10 to 15 centimeter from this moon. Let this larger ball be the earth. Draw a circle along the midline of this ball using a pencil in the center. Let this be the equator. Keep the ball steady using a rubber or cloth ring. Arrange the balls representing the earth and the moon in such a way that the circle drawn on the moon will be in the plane of the equator of the earth. Take a torch, that is the sun, hold it at a distance of about 30 centimeters from the moon. Direct the light beam on the moon. Now students, observe the shadow of the smaller ball on the earth to understand how solar eclipse occurs. Students, always remember, while observing a solar eclipse, it is necessary to view the sun disk through dark glasses or special goggles made for that purpose. Otherwise, the intense light of the sun can be harmful to the naked eye. Now let's learn about how lunar eclipse occur. A lunar eclipse occurs when the moon enters the shadow of the earth. while revolving around it. At this time, it is necessary that the earth is between the sun and the moon, and all three of them are in the same plane. There are two types of lunar eclipse: total lunar eclipse and partial lunar eclipse. Let's learn about each of them in detail. Total lunar eclipse. On a full moon day, the moon's path of revolution passes through the thick shadow of the earth. If the moon is totally hidden within the shadow, we see a total lunar eclipse. Students, observe the given picture. In the picture, you can see that the earth is between the sun and the moon. When the moon passes through the darker part of the shadow of the earth, we can observe a total lunar eclipse from the darker part of the shadow. The moon looks red, but why is it so? As the moon passes directly behind the earth locks sunlight directly reaching the moon, causing a reddish glow to appear. Because of the red color, it is called a blood moon. It can only occur when there is a full moon. The second type of lunar eclipse is partial lunar eclipse. Now students, during a lunar eclipse, if we are standing in a lighter part of the earth's shadow, or if we are in the region of penumbra, we can only see a part of moon is in the shadow. This particular condition is known as partial lunar eclipse. Let's see the characteristics of lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse occurs on a full moon day, but not on every full moon day. A lunar eclipse occurs if and only if the sun, the moon, and the earth are in the same plane and fall in one line. The maximum duration of a total lunar eclipse is 107 minutes. Now students, same like solar eclipse, we have one more activity to perform to understand about lunar eclipse. So let's try the activity. Take a table, keep a rubber or cloth ring at the center of the table. Now place a large plastic or rubber ball on the cloth ring. Let this ball be the earth. Take a torch, that is the sun. Hold it at a distance of about 30 centimeters from the earth. Take a ball of clay or mud and tip it on the other side of the table. Fix a pencil vertically in the clay ball in such a way that its sharp end points upwards. Fix a small plastic or sponge ball on the sharp end of the pencil. Arrange the balls representing the earth and the moon in such a way that the circle drawn on the moon will be in the plane of the equator of the earth. Direct the light beam on the earth. Observe the shadow of the earth on moon to understand how lunar eclipse occur. Eclipse an astronomical event. So students, eclipse is nothing good or bad. It is just an astronomical event. A solar eclipse or lunar eclipse is just an astronomical event. There is nothing auspicious or inauspicious about these events. It is just a result of the sun, the earth, and the moon being in specific positions. There is a lot of curiosity about eclipses because an eclipse is not a regular occurrence. For scientists working in the field of astronomy, eclipses and particularly total or annular solar eclipses present great opportunities for study. Scientists from all over the world make it a point to visit the locations where such events are going to occur. They carry out elaborate studies of eclipse conditions. Due to occurrence of eclipse, there is an unusual behavior of animals and birds. During the period of solar eclipse, a large number of birds and animals get confused due to untimely darkness that sets in. As this is an event that does not suit their biological clock, their response to the event is also unusual. Let's get some more information about occultation and transit. Like eclipses, some other specific conditions occur with reference to the sun or the moon. These are called occultation and transit respectively. Occultation occurs with reference to the moon. This is a typical event occurring in space. The moon revolves around the earth. While doing so, it obscures a star or a planet, and that celestial body appears to hide behind the moon. This is called occultation. The total solar eclipse is actually a kind of occultation. During this, the sun disk gets hidden completely because of the moon. Transit. The transit is associated with the sun. If an inner planet like Mercury or Venus comes in between the line of the earth and the sun, a transit occurs. At that time, a small dot appears to move across the sun disk. Transit is a type of solar eclipse. So with this, we have completed the second lesson of geography. Now let's recap. Today we have studied about solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, occultation and transit. Thank you.